first I'm going to start off. I'm going to pass it down the line here to our head coaches and just let us know what administrative people y'all brought with y'all, and then we're going to pass around the table so all the players can say your name, your position, your grade, and if you're committed somewhere or have any offers. Coach John.
Coach Small from East Coweta. Appreciate you all having us here today. It's always a great event. Our players will introduce themselves here in just a minute, but administratively we have Dr. Lee Heberlin with us today, our athletic director. He's not a doctor, he's a coach. Appreciate all he does for us at East Coweta in our athletic department.
Chip Walker from Newnan, and again, thank y'all for having us here. This is always a great event, something we look forward to every fall. It kicks off, kind of kicks off football season, so it's always good for us. Brandavius Mann, who's our athletic director, Coach Mann, raise your hand right there, does a great job. This is his second year as our athletic director, and does an unbelievable job supporting our young men and women at Newnan High School, and we appreciate everything that he does for us.
Coach Jake Copeland, I'm the athletic director at the Heritage School and also defensive coordinator. Our head coach, we've had the little stomach bug going around and he wasn't able to make it, so he hates missing this event. He loves this event every year. And with us today, we have assistant head coach and offensive line coach, Coach Chip Siegel, and our guys will introduce themselves here in just a minute.
Jeff Spindlecoffer, Trinity Christian School. Thank you for the Rotary Club and all the other coaches have been mentioned that this is always an awesome event. We got our players and they'll introduce themselves, and we got Coach Lance Duncan, who is our athletic director as well as our offensive coordinator.
Casey Smith, head football coach at Northgate. It's really fun to be here. I was here a long time ago, and so it's really good to get back in the area. Seeing a lot of good friends of mine, like Dr./Coach Lee over here, and my athletic director, soon to be Dr. Travis Smith. I call him Mr. Smooth. He's always dressed to the nines, but he's been here about a month with us, and he and I have really hit the ground running, and really looking forward to our relationship we're going to have in the coming years, building the football team and our athletics program and our players in the center front.
Perfect. Thank you, coaches. I have one last shout out. Thank you to the Coweta County School Board for being here. We always love the good work y'all do for our students, so thank y'all for being here. So we're going to go ahead and start with East Coweta, and y'all just kind of tell us what y'all got.
I'm a running back, 2027, and I have no offers, not committed at all.
What's your name?
Jeremiah Brewer.
Chance Gilbert, East Coweta High School. I play DB. I'm committed to Auburn.
I'm Jess Bowles. I play quarterback. I'm a senior, and I'm committed to South Georgia State College to play baseball.
Pass it over to Trinity now.
Cole Woodward, I go to Trinity Christian. I play center, and I'm committed to Jack State.
I'm Ashton Ford, 2027. I play quarterback. I have 4 offers, and I'm not committed.
I'm Luke Thompson, Trinity Christian. I play receiver and outside linebacker, and I'm uncommitted.
Give it over now to Northgate.
My name is Colin Wilder. I play defensive end, number 54, no offers.
Chase Ingram. I'm an athlete, 1 offer.
Braylon Pearson. I'm a DB and no offers. Seniors.
Ryan Lavelle, center, and currently no offers. I'm a receiver.
Elijah Jones. I play safety. I'm a senior, and I have 2 offers.
Pass it along over to Heritage.
Tyler Wyatt, class of 27, tackle and outside backer, no offers.
I'm Star Maddox. I'm a corner and I'm a wide receiver, class of 27, and no offers. Landon Allen, senior linebacker, L-line.
Brody Campbell, senior quarterback, committed to Georgia Tech.
Jalen Barrett, receiver, senior, and I got a couple offers.
Perfect. And those last two were over at Newnan, so thank y'all for being here. I know that I think got two more stragglers coming in, so when they get here, we'll get them. But first, I want to thank y'all for being here and a good season ahead of y'all, and to y'all that have some offers. Hope y'all have some good success at the next level. First question I'm going to throw out. I'm going to throw this over to Coach Chip Walker. How important is community engagement for y'all's team?
Well, extremely important. It's one of the things that Newnan in our community is as good a community, in my opinion, as there is in the state of Georgia, and the support and the things that we get from our community that they love, and I say this all the time, our community loves Newnan, they love Newnan High School, they love Newnan football, but anything that goes on in our school, our community supports, and it is such a great thing for our young men and women. It is a special, in my opinion, special place to go to high school in terms of, because it is a community school. And you know, one of the things I love when you go around town and you see and talk to people and you hear people that graduated 30, 40, 50 years ago and they're still living in this community, and that's just a really neat deal. And so with what we do and all the things that go on, we want to make sure that we give back to our community. This past weekend, we had a bed build over at off the bypass with Sleeping Heavenly Peace, and we built 48 beds. We had over 100 guys that showed up on Saturday morning after we played on Friday night. That's the 4th year in a row that we've done that. So we try to do as much as we can to give back because our community is so giving to us, and we appreciate it so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. Next one, I'm going to pass it over to Coach Small. How important is the middle school development for y'all's program?
Loaded question. I think all the feeder systems can all be improved at every school system, but our middle school coaches, which we get kids from Lee, we get kids from Arnold, we get kids from East Coweta Middle, sometimes from the other ones, but they do the best they can with the resources that they have. But they do have good kids that know how to work hard. So when you get them, I don't know how it is at Newnan or other places, but you're really having to develop them in the 9th grade when you get them from a football standpoint. And that's one area I think the feeder system could really get better here in Coweta to make football better.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. Pass this over to Northgate. With the first year coming in, what is the mojo and the culture y'all are trying to build for y'all's team over at Northgate?
Well, as we all know, we are making a massive jump from 5A to 7A, and that alone is a tremendous challenge for us. We also have a very difficult non-region schedule that will hopefully get us better prepared for when we do hit our region schedule later in the year. But you know, I got to Northgate pretty much right after spring break that you guys had, and I'm a big believer. You know, Coach Smitty and I, we coached together. I also coached with Coach Walker, and I coached Coach Copeland back in the day. I haven't coached Coach Small. I think he's a little older than I am, but I hit everybody else, and he's Coach Copeland. But really, you know, I'm a defensive-oriented background guy, so I'm a big believer in playing tough physical football, and I try to preach that to our players every single day, and how we approach practice and how we attack the weight room and things like that, and holding them accountable, because all those little things will matter, you know, in the long run as we, you know, go through the course of the season and through the development of our younger guys who are in our program as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. Next, we're going to pass it over to Trinity. With your schedule, there's some powerhouses in there with Elkin, Prince Avenue. Let us know who y'all have to kind of compete with those, and kind of what y'all's game plan is going into the season to hang with the big boys.
Well, I think last year's schedule kind of prepped us for this year. For those who don't know, we were 4A playing with 2A numbers, with 220 total boys in the school. So we had the Mary Persons and the LaGranges and the Troops of the world on our schedule. So this year we went back down to single A, but we've always tried to schedule up. And that's always been my motto, is play somebody early so you kind of know a little bit about yourself. You may win it, you may drop it, but you'll have a better understanding of what's coming and have a measure on yourself. And we always talk about to our guys, it's, you know, it really doesn't matter what the other team does, it's kind of what you do. And we kind of approach it that way. So we picked up Prince Avenue and Veterans, which is a 6A school, and Spalding again, who was in our region last year, just to see where we're at. And it'll just be a matter of, you know, hopefully we'll be blessed with, you know, staying away from the injury bug. But I think our guys, especially the three that's sitting over there with us, they understand what it's being on the field last year with some of those teams that we played. That I think they'll be, by that time, that they'll be ready to go.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach. I'm going to throw it over to Coach Copeland over at Heritage. Can you let us know how, going into Levi's second year, how the development of the team's been, and kind of what's going on in the classifications now in GIAA?
Yeah, I will have to give Coach Dunn tremendous amount of credit. Going into his second year, he has really built a team culture of commitment and hard work. This summer, we probably had the best numbers we've had. Our roster is on the smaller side, but that core group of our roster was there all summer, working hard, setting the foundation, setting the expectations for the younger kids. Us being a small school, our middle school practices, works out, and everything with our varsity. So having them out there all throughout the year and seeing what right looks like, he's been able to build a really great culture and foundation for us going into the season. With classifications in GIAA, we did go up a classification. We are going to be playing in 3A this year instead of the 2A region we've been in the past few years. And for GIAA, it's kind of strange because they try to do stuff geographically. And so we are in a football region with 2 schools from Augusta and 1 school from Marietta. But the rest of our sports will be playing in a region that is classified down in Columbus with Brookstone and Pacelli and those guys. So we like our matchups, we like the schedule that we have, and I think you'll see a lot more competitive football out of the Heritage School this year.
Perfect. Thanks, Jake. It sounds like we're going to need to get our pillows and blankets ready for the road this year for those long away games. But next, this is one we're just going to kind of go down the list and just pass it down to coaches just so we can hear about how the summer's been and kind of what returning players we have. You know, are we heavy seniors? Are we heavy young guys? And just kind of what the team looks like for this upcoming season. Start with Coach John Small.
Our kids do a tremendous job, always have their work ethic, their commitment to being there every day in the summer. We returned a good number of players from last year. I think we returned 19 of 22 from defense, which we struggled last year on defense, but a lot of those guys got great experience and they'll be back. Probably the most connected group of guys as a coach. I've done this 29 years. Probably the most connected bunch of dudes I've ever been around. We've had some close teams, but these guys are a little bit different. We play a lot of good, talented teams, and I tell them all the time that the connectedness, the togetherness, having each other's back can get you through a lot of those wars. But really excited about this bunch. Here with us today that Jeremiah Brewer, who plays running back, he's been a defensive lineman for the last 2 years. Touched the ball a little bit, but we went into spring practice and he worked his butt off this offseason, and we put him at running back, and I think our defense really hates trying to tackle him, and he's done a good job. And then you got Jax Bowles, has been our quarterback last year. He's not the tallest in stature, but just a winner. And he's a coach's kid. He gets it, great leader, kids respect him, and got all the confidence in the world in him. And then Chance Gilbert, obviously everybody knows his name, but you wouldn't know it unless you asked him, because he's probably one of the most humble people I've ever been around. And just a great young man, great leader, a strong Christian kid, stands on what he believes, doesn't waver from it. And so these guys are leading our team, and they've got, I think we got 32 seniors this year. A lot of those guys play, but we have some sophomores that are in that mix as well. So really excited about this bunch going into this season.
Our group is a talented group that brings back a lot of experience. Our senior class has been a really good senior class. The last couple of years, we've gone to the second round 2 years in a row, and it's kind of been on the strength of this senior class. We have got talent at all three of the classes, seniors, juniors, and sophomores that will start and will help us. So it's always good to have talented kids in each class, and so it's a good group. If you're talking about us as a team, obviously, if you start on the offensive side of the ball, it all kind of starts with Brody, who's our quarterback. He is a 4-year starter who is as good as I've ever been around in my 32 years of coaching. He does all the things that you want a quarterback to do. He is a student of the game. He's a leader. He does a great job with our guys. And then if you go skill guys wise, we feel like we got as good a receiving core as there is around. Jalen Britt, this will be his 3rd year as a starter. Last year he had 93 catches, which to me is still hard to imagine how many catches he had. He is a guy who is electric with the ball in his hands. We have John Matthews, who's a junior, really talented wide out. And we feel like that position goes 3 or 4 deep behind those guys. Got a core of running backs. We probably got 5 or 6 running backs that we feel good about. And then up front, we're going to be a little bigger. If you went and saw us last year, you probably asked where are the offensive linemen at, because they all looked about 5'10" or 5'11". We're going to be a little bit bigger up front this time, which will be good. Some of those guys are young, but are talented young men. Then on defense, we probably returned 6 guys who started games. Most of those guys are probably on the back end, where we got some length in the secondary for the first time probably since I've been there in 10 years. Our defensive front is a talented group that has some length and some size as well. And so our linebacker core, they got to come along and do some really good things if we're going to be good defensively. One of the biggest holes we're going to have, and Coach Small and I were just talking about this a little while ago, is we had a kicker, Quint Johnson, last year, who's a really talented young man who's gone on to college to play. And so we're going to have to replace him. It's going to be difficult. But we got a great group of young men who put in a lot of hard work. It's probably been the best off season since January that I've been around in a long time. No distractions, and everything headed in the right direction. And so that's been a really good thing for this group. We're looking for a lot of good things.
This season, like I said, our roster number is not huge. I think Friday is our first game. We're playing Riverside Military up in Gainesville, and we'll be dressing around 24. And in saying that, we have 3 out of our 4 seniors, so we are extremely young. But I will say, and Coach Chip and I were just talking, we've been watching this young group since they were in about 5th grade, and we knew if we could just get them up to the varsity level, we would have a talented bunch. And they're here. They're in the 9th grade now. I think we're starting 6 freshmen this year. But we have sprinkled in older guys there that are showing them the right way, showing them how to work, those sort of things. So offensively, our offensive line, we have a talented group. We have maybe 1 hole on the offensive line, but there's the other 4 we feel very solid about. Our quarterback, he's a freshman. He's one of those ones we've been watching develop, and he's pretty special throwing the ball, and he can also run. We've got about 3 running backs that will rotate in that running back position. And receiver-wise, I would put our receivers up about against anybody in the GIAA. I think we're extremely talented, and once we get the ball out in space, they can do some special things. And then defensively, kind of switched up our scheme this year to fit our personnel better. We're just running basically your 3-4 defense. And up front, we've got some guys that know their job and know their role, and can really get the ball to bounce to our outside backers. We got Tyler, that's going to be playing 1 outside, and then Mason, he was one of our best players last year. He broke his collarbone in a prospect camp in June, so we got word yesterday that he should be back in about 2 to 3 weeks. So it'll be nice to get him back to play that other outside backer. And then in the secondary, we'll be starting, right now it looks like 3 freshmen and a senior. But again, they've already taken a ton of reps. They've been with the varsity ever since they were in middle school. They know what to do. So I'm looking really forward to watching them grow up and kind of get tossed to the fire and see how they respond.
As far as our summer went, it was a little bit easier this year than last year. I will say last year the seniors bought in and they were there. I'm a big I'm a big stickler for attendance. I take roll every day. And this year was awesome. We had 32 workouts. We had 76% of our kids made over 74% of the workouts. And that's battling, you know, travel baseball and basketball and lacrosse and all that. So we go 7:15 to 9:15. The good thing about Trinity is we're really blessed that I've got the middle schoolers on campus and I see them every day. So we also had 40 middle schoolers down there. And if we, in our school, we can get 15 in class and get to 60, that would be huge. And so we had my strength coach. He got the middle school job, and they were right there with us doing everything. And that way, it kind of gets them used to coming and seeing and everything how the varsity does it. And we're all mixing and mingling there. And they go 2 hours with us Monday through Thursday. So super pleased with the summer. As far as offensively this year, it all starts with these two guys over here sitting, Cole and Ashton. We lost a lot of guys at the edge last year, a lot of skill guys, but with the way we did summer, we basically had an offensive, defensive individual every day. So you're looking at 80 minutes of both sides of the ball. So we felt like, and you're starting to see it now, like when we went to FCA camp, we went to camp. We may be not as talented as far as, you know, top line talent as far as what we had last year, but I feel like we got more people that know what to do. So we're really, really excited. You know, Ashton threw for 2,600 yards last year, and we rushed for over 1,700 yards, and we've got really two good running backs, Micah Steele and George Wilson, who's coming as a freshman. He'll play a lot for us. Up front, of course, there's Cole. We got we're for a 2A school, we're pretty big up front. We've got a couple of guys over 280 and some guys like at 240, and that's pretty good size for us. And then, of course, wide receivers, Blake Dowler, who's a senior, who's been in the program. Slot receiver, Luke. Luke plays both sides of the ball, also plays outside linebacker for us. Feel like two places we really needed to have some depth and find some players was inside linebacker. And we got Josh Cobb and Coach Dallas's son, Zach Dallas, is back in the mix. Landon Bardhill, a freshman, or a sophomore this year. Got some new faces on the defensive line. That's where we kind of got hit. We got Andrew White's coming back. We got a new Nolan McPherson. Hudson Reeds was in the program and came back. So, and then in the secondary, got some young talent. C.J. Robertson, Aiden Randolph back there. Caleb Good. Mason Blanton's helping on both sides of the ball. So, and in the kicking game, I feel like we can hopefully make a lot of teams start at the 20-yard line. Colin DePriest, who's gotten an offer from North Greenville, he puts it 2 or 3, 4 yards in the end zone. And, you know, we feel like if we can get inside the 35-yard line, we can at least get 3 points out of it. So super excited. You know, Coach Duncan does a great job of film study with his staff on that side of the ball and getting the ball in space really quick and putting a lot of stress out. And that's kind of where football's played out there now, you know, and you got to get it to your playmakers. As Coach Walker was talking about. Defensively, you know, we got to stop the run. Been on them all year. We got to be physical at the point of attack and get knockoff on both sides of the ball. And if we do that, we'll see what happens. But really excited about this year, you know, and the way last year ended, winning the first playoff game in 4 years since their championship run, and then we got knocked out in the second round by Hebron, who ended up winning it. So really excited about this coming year and getting ready for Holy Innocents, and then our first game on the 21st.
All right, well, at Northgate, we have a small senior class. We only have 14 seniors, so our bulk of our guys are in that sophomore and junior class. But these 5 gentlemen, I've been extremely impressed and proud of those guys because, you know, they've gone through a lot of transition over the last probably 9 or 10 months with various coaches coming in and out of the building, and they've done nothing but work for me, yes sir, no sir type guys who bring their lunch pail every day and come to work, and I've been very appreciative of that. Now as we transition to the different positions, you know, Ryan's probably our lead guy up front on our offensive line. We've had a couple kind of freak injuries that have happened since spring with a couple of our guys that have kind of depleted our depth on the offensive line, which we've had to kind of restructure some of our practice times to kind of cross over some guys and mainly you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to put our best people on the field at one time. And so, you know, that's been a transition for all of us, trying to get that. In the backfield, we feel pretty good about what we have. Ledger Clements is our quarterback, and he's started since about halfway through his freshman year. We have a veteran running backs group led by Woody Scatini. We have a younger receiver group. We got a couple veterans that are a little banged up right now. We're trying to get them back on the field. But it's also given these younger guys more opportunities to you know, get some reps and some quality time, you know, with our scrimmage last week that we had. And then flipping over to the defensive side, I really like our linebacking core. They're younger guys. They're pretty talented. The veteran group is our secondary. We've got I think 3 seniors that are back there that we're counting on to carry the load for us on the defensive side. And then up front, we're pretty young also, with underclassmen that will be back next year, which is good for us. But based off of what the coaches have told me, we've got 4 returning starters back defensively, and good spots offensively, and our kicking game should be strong. We have 2 of the top specialists in the country, with our long snapper Ace Clark and our kicker, who also punts for us and kicks off, which is the British bomber, as we call him, Charlie Curry.
Perfect. Thank y'all, coaches. I know we're getting close to the end. I know the boys are probably not ready to go back to school, but might have to, and coaches are ready to go back to work. I'm going to open the floor to some questions from the group. Does anyone have any questions for these coaches? Noah and Mac, y'all have any questions? Jason?
This is for all coaches. You can look at your schedule and see some really exciting games coming up. Is there a particular game that seems to be the most challenging, or something that a game that maybe you're worried about a little bit?
I know what you're alluding to because you have a Newnan shirt on. Every game on our schedule we look at as the biggest game. So our biggest game is Thursday night against Sandy Creek. We try to take them one at a time. But again, I know where you're coming from. I'll say this, the East Coweta Newnan football game is probably the greatest rivalry football game ever been a part of as a coach, player, anything like that. And when I explain it to my buddies around the state that coach, and they talk about rivalry games, I'm like, you have no idea. I think Chip and I, we talk about it. It's an exciting game, but if you win that game, you're good for 365 days a year. If you lose that game, your life is terrible. So my wife couldn't go to Publix anymore after last year, so now we do all online shopping. But that does make that special in this county, that ball game, and it's a really exciting ball game. So, but all of them are big.
Yeah, just kind of echo exactly what Coach Small said. You know, we stand out there before the game every time we play, and it's always, that's the East Coweta Newnan game. It's the most special rivalry to me in the state of Georgia, and it's always a neat one. There are a lot of really good football teams on our schedule. We're going to open with LaGrange. We got that game back on the schedule for the first time in about 15 years. And Newnan and LaGrange is the 3rd most played game in the history of the state of Georgia, and hadn't been played in 15 years. It would definitely be second if that rivalry would have continued. So we're excited to get that one back on. And then all 3 of the public schools play in what might be the best regions in their classifications, with Carrollton and Douglas County and Westlake and East Coweta and Northgate. And then with us, we got Creekside and Langston and Woodward Academy and Lovejoy. So we all have a bunch of really good games and tough games. So it's going to be a lot of fun. 2026 looks like it's going to be a great year for Coweta County football.
For us at Heritage, you know, we have been down the past few years. We've won 2 games in the past 3 seasons, so I have to say every game's going to be a big one for us, and we go one game at a time. But like I said, the guys have worked really hard, and I do think we're going to put a much more competitive team out there, and I think we'll turn the script a little bit over the past few years.
To echo Coach Smalls and Coach Walker, I think every one of them is important. Obviously, we talk about that. You can't be 2-0 until you're 1-0. So that's kind of a big thing with us. But there are some teams coming back on the schedule that I know that have been rivals before. Elka, Prince Avenue, who we didn't have to play, that we picked up. That's always been a big one at Trinity. So we're looking forward to all of them and see, you know, where we stand, and we're gonna be really tested early before we get to some of those games. So we just take it one day at a time and try to win that day and see if our hard work will pay off, and can we execute when it matters, and then we'll move on to the next one. So yeah, I'm looking forward, because I haven't been involved with some of those. I've had some of my own rivalries when I was over in Fayette County, but I'm looking forward to those new ones for sure.
Well, for me, the most important one, we play Archer game 1. I talk to Coach Walker, and I talk about once a week, and he asked me a couple days ago, who do you play game 2? And I said, honestly, I don't even know, because I don't really worry about that as much as who we got in front of our face. And I think for us, we have to worry about us getting better. The better we get better, it should translate to whoever we play that's on the schedule. And so I'm a big believer in focusing on what we do day in and day out, and not really worrying about, you know, what Coach Smitty and them are doing. I don't care what he's doing, to be honest with you. I know he'll do a good job with them, but I got to worry about Northgate, and that's my top priority, and it always will be. And so, but we have a tremendous schedule, and we're excited about it. Archer game 1's got about 1,100 more students than we do. So in that, you know, we saw them on tape this weekend, and they have about 185 players on the sidelines. They were from goal line to goal line pretty much. And, you know, but at the end of the day, there's only 11 that get on the field. And so that's kind of how we're approaching week in and week out.
Thanks, Coach. I'm going to throw it over to Coach Chip. He had a player come in on the back end.
Cam, stand up right there. Cam Ellison, who's one of our linebackers, is a senior for us, and a guy who's played a bunch of football in our program the last several years. So I want to make sure I got a chance to introduce him.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. I remember my big rivalry game back in the day was against Old Trinity, so I'm glad we don't have to play them anymore over at Heritage. But we got time for one last question. Do we have anyone that has a question? All right. Well, Olivia, what you got?
I know I talked to all of y'all over the phone and everything like that, but I'm really curious, you know, aside from the wins and losses, this might seem like a simple question, but what are you most excited about for Friday nights?
The question was, what are you excited for most about upcoming Friday nights?
Besides the game you're talking about, I think high school is the purest form of football there is. It's almost becoming a business for kids, but you know, just to see the joy on the kids' faces, they prepare during the week, and then they get to go out and play high school football, whether you're at home or on the road, and the crowd and the students and the community coming together. And because at the end of the day, man, it's young lady, excuse me, it's about these kids. It's not about us. You know, I could be gone tomorrow, they're going to replace my seat, but these kids are going to be here. So keeping the main thing, and the main thing is it's always about the kids.
We talk about that is that this is the seniors football team. You know, we'll be around to have other football teams. We've had football teams long before them in terms of the careers that we've had, but this is their football team. So get to watch them go and play on Friday night and do something that they love to do and something that they worked really hard to do, and that's always a lot of fun. And then to watch them grow and develop over 4 years just as people. You know, we got some guys that are seniors, are going to be playing a lot of football this year, and as freshmen you couldn't even imagine them, you know, getting to this point. They've grown and matured and done so much, and so it's just a lot of fun to see that. And there's no doubt. And then on the back end of that, the relationships that you've built with these guys that you will carry on for the rest of your life. I got an email on Sunday morning from a former player who was in the U.S. Army, and he was telling me about some of the things that we talked about when I coached him, the same things that we still talk about, and how important they have been to him in his career. And so that's been something that's always enjoyable too.
Kind of to echo what Coach Small and Coach Walker said, it's about the kids, and I think for all of us coaches, it's especially for us this year at the Heritage School, we have such a young roster. I can't wait for that moment for that young freshman to make that special tackle or to make that play where, early in the summer we were sitting there trying to pour into them and build their confidence, and they were nervous and that sort of stuff. So I know it's going to happen for a lot of our guys, and when they make those special moments, it's just awesome to watch their hard work finally pay off. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
And I agree with all previous coaches. And one thing we always tell our players: you're in the best days of your life right now, and you don't even know it. And you get to look back on these times in high school, and we don't get to enjoy the atmosphere as much because we're dialed in. The coaches are, but and I would be remiss to say, talking about the experience. We had a young man that was he would have been here today, Braden Staffens. He just got the text. He's out of surgery. He tore his ACL at FCA camp, non-contact injury. He would be here today. And it's those kind of times that you're like, man, and he's right there with us though. He's been coming to practice, and he can still walk obviously, but he had to go get it repaired. And he was a senior, and he lost his whole season. But I would regret me not mentioning his name as well. But the relationship, the fact that his mom and dad just text me that he's out of surgery, that's awesome. And that's what it's all about. Because the games, like Coach said, they have a new coach at Trinity tomorrow, but you're going to have those memories with those guys. And everybody that's been in here probably had a conversation, when you played and what game you played in, and a rivalry game, and you remember it like it was yesterday, and it never leaves you. So that I agree 100% with the coaches that's the reason kind of why we do it. It's the relationships that you build along the way.
Well, for me, I had a guy a long time told me this. When I was in college, I used to roof houses. And the guys that I worked with, they would all look at me and say, "You don't want to do this for the rest of your life." And so that's one thing I always think about from time to time is I get to coach, which I don't think is a job. It's fun for us up here to lead these guys because we were in that same position in those chairs that you guys are. And I try to stress to moms and dads and players, especially when you're seniors and some of you get caught so much into trying to get recruited and you put a lot of pressure on yourself that you forget about why you're doing this, okay? And that is because you love football. And once your high school experience is over, if you are fortunate enough to play in college, it changes. It becomes more of a business, and it's not quite as fun. And a lot of times, a lot of former players, I've had close to 150 guys in my career that have gone on to play in college, and most of them have always told me it's never as fun as when it was when I was in high school. And so I stress that to all the young men that's in this room to enjoy your senior year, okay? Because you only get it once. And you need to enjoy the relationships that you've established with your teammates and your coaches and your parents. Because next year, it's a totally different game for you. You're going to be out of the house on your own, and your parents are going to strive. They're going to want you to be back home. And so, but it's a time where it's you to grow up and move on to the next chapter of your life. So you need to enjoy and soak this up every single day because it will be gone in an instant.
Thank all coaches. Great question, Olivia. Let's give these coaches and players a big round of applause.